have favorites, but I think in every era in our lives, in our business, people come to your lives, you know, for a reason. And Ed and Julie are just, you know, a breath of fresh air for Shot Caller and Sir Chief and I. We highly respect them. We admire their relationship. They're good quality, you know, down to earth, humble, open-minded, you know, power duo. And I'm excited to see, and I'm excited for them to explore the unseen of what we do. You know, they say winning is not a sometime thing, it's an all the time thing. And, you know, Ed and Julie are continuously making strides to always move forward, right? And, you know, one of the things I can always count on them, or we can always count on them, I know Coach Julia and Sir Chief agree, is that they always deliver and they always give it their best. So without further ado, to end our weeks of overcoming objections, we want to pass the baton to JF's power duo, the great Ed and Julie. Ed and Julie, take it away.
Thank you, Shatsi, for that introduction. Everybody can hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. So first things first, I would like to thank God for keeping us all safe and giving us strength to continue to our personal and business endeavors in spite of what's going on in the world today. And my name is Ednilao. I go by Ed. You know, it's not that complicated. And the woman sitting right next to me is my girlfriend, my partner in everything, Julie Echon. And let me just share my slides now. Open the slides. Everybody, so this is us. So it's pretty much our evolution. A picture with the stars. So that is me before Julie came to my life. And in this picture, you can tell who I used to hang out with, who I used to be, and pretty much my mindset says everything in there. And I'm not gonna go in details and all that. Right below it is Julie before I came to her life. So the flower that she's holding in the lower left holding is the one that I gave her 7 years ago. And honestly, that is still the first one on the record until today. So, and next picture is her son, Jumel. And the picture with us, we both have sunglasses. I put this picture in there to represent who we are being together before Primerica. So we would attend like every events we get invited to, and the last three pictures and on the right side are who we are doing the Primerica. So those three pictures are like when we made doing Primerica and committed to make big decisions today and in the future. So that's that picture from 2019 convention in Georgia. So that was one of our biggest decision since we started joining Primerica. And tonight we are going to share some common objections we have encountered building our Primerica business. And our 4 common objections during Primerica that we'd like to share to you guys are, so the first one is, can you call me at another time? We get that a lot. And then I'm not interested. And do I have to come every meeting? And the last one is partner and spouse objection. And everyone, I like to bring up my partner and everything. You know, she will go over her part, which is the first one and second one of the presentation, and then, or of the common objection. And then that is no other than my mahal, Julie Echon.
Yahoo!
Hello, JF.
Go,
Good
Julie.
evening. Okay, so thank you everyone for being here in our Zoom training. So tonight I will be doing the first and second objections. So first one, can you call me at another time? So I experienced this most of the time that I call to make an appointment. So what you can do if they said, can you call me at another time, don't say just, oh, okay, I'll call you tomorrow, or maybe can I call you later, or can you call you tomorrow? So it's like I'm guilty of that because I'm giving them in charge on what I'm trying to make an the appointment, or the make a KDA appointment. So to overcome that, ask them a question. So ask them like, if I call you, so if they said, can you call me tomorrow? So if they said, can you call me tomorrow? Ask question, if I call you tomorrow, when in the future do you think we could be able to get together? Then you're gonna wait for the answer. If ever they said, oh, well, perhaps Friday. So, oh, great. So just so we don't waste any time, let's go ahead and set a tentative appointment for Friday. So at least from that, you have a tentative appointment, you have something in your schedule, write down, and then you continue on telling that client, if anything comes up for you, then call me and we can reschedule it. But if not, I will assume that Friday night is fine, and I will be prepared to meet you unless I hear from you stating otherwise. Fair enough? And then you're gonna wait for the answer. You will say like, yes, and then I'll ask the question again, because asking questions, that means like you're in charge, you're controlling the conversation. So the 7:30 sounds fine, and then you're gonna wait for the answer. If she said yes again, so great, by the way, I need your address. And then you start with question again. Your question is it at Chula Vista or National City? Because it's like, if you ask the if you're gonna ask, oh, what is your address? Oh, they might say, can I text it to you, or something else like, can I call you back to schedule it, to give you the address? But if you ask question like, is it at Chula Vista or National City, the client probably say, the client will pick either Chula Vista or National City. And then if he picked Chula Vista, oh, okay, so what is the street number and name? And then you get the address. That's what, how to get the address, because sometimes we're having our experience from that, getting the address from the client. Usually it happens to Ed most of his KDA appointment. They won't text the address by the time like one day before the appointment, and then it's ending up like canceled every time. Okay, so the next overcoming objections that I'm gonna share is, I'm not interested. So I will say, oh, that's very interesting. So Mrs. and Mr. Or Mr. Client, I have found that it is pretty, let me see here, how to change this one. Yeah, I cannot see, it's blocking. I'll go over here. Okay, so I'm sorry about that. So that's okay. So you answer, that's very interesting. So Mrs. and Mr. Client, I have found that it is pretty difficult to have interest in something if you know nothing about it, isn't it? And they will answer like yes. So usually when someone says they are not interested, it usually means they are very busy and don't have the spare time to listen to what we have to say. Is that how would you say it is? And then we're gonna wait for answer. The client might say, yes, it is. So I know how you feel. So I remember what chat caller saying earlier, that feel, felt, and found. So right here, I know how you feel. So we are so busy that we can't spend any spare time on something that we don't feel would be beneficial. But if we're something that could really impact our lives in a big way, it would be silly not to at least invest 15 to 20 minutes exploring it. Wouldn't you agree? And then we're gonna wait for the answer, and most clients will say, oh, well, yes. And then you can tell Mrs. and Mr. and Mrs. Client, I am very sensitive to how busy a person you are, but I also feel that the information we offer is invaluable. So I would like to ask for you 20 minutes of your time to share our concepts. And if after 20 minutes, I am not able to offer your substantial value, I will leave. But, so you need to emphasize the but, Mrs. and Mr. Client, I know that you will be able to benefit from our concepts greatly. So what day is better for you, Monday or Wednesday? So I know that you give them like, if after 20 minutes I am not able to offer you substantial value, it seems like you're losing hope for that. But we know as an agent, we give invaluable concepts, or in our product or our service is invaluable. So we don't really feel that we're not gonna give them value on our appointment. So that's why I always say, but Mrs. and Mr. Client, I know that you will be able to benefit from our concepts greatly. So from that, don't make the client ask question. So you ask question right away after that, greatly, like period. So what day is better for you, Monday or Wednesday? So that's my part. So I have some, like for me, like some, not really like a tip, but like some attitude. As for me, like for the client, I assume that they want the product or the program, but they just don't know it yet. So everyone needs our product, but they don't have any resources to know what we are doing or what we can do to help them. So they just don't know it yet. So we always need to assume that they want it or they need it, okay? And then all objection is nothing more than a request for more information. And then like Shot Caller said, expect objection for every appointment that we have, because that, like I said, objection is requesting more information from our client, and we have all the information that we can give to client. You might not need answer it that day. That's why we have a second time visit to answer all those questions that we cannot answer on the first visit. So that's it for me. So now I'm gonna go over, introduce to you my partner, like you saw him earlier, Ednilao, my mahal ko.
Hello, JF, I'm back. So I'm going to go over the third part, or number 3 of our most common objection. And number 3 is, do I have to come to every meeting? So Mr. and Ms. Client, or the name like Julie, the most important meeting that you need to come is the next one, the next meeting. For example, like working out. So I have example here, working out, eating, and college class, or attending college class. So, when you work out, it physically improves your body if you do it right. It's the same thing with eating. So you need to feed your body, you need to feed your mind, because you need to become a student of the business. We need to reprogram the way we think. So always use that we, not just you think or something like that. And then how to become successful entrepreneur, how to be more positive, and then how to think about owning and operating your own business. So the same thing, like if you take college class or courses, and if your course lasts 12 weeks and you miss 9 out of 12 weeks, how good are you going to do in that course? And then, so emphasize that showing up for the first 30 to 90 days, it's very critical to your success. And the next one, or the last one, would be partner spouse objections. So what I have here is, my partner will not go for this. Why do I have to get my partner involved? It's not for me, it won't work. I have a job already and all that. So the first one is, my partner will not go for this. So if you get this objection, make sure to get your field trainer or RVP to go with you, to sit down with your partner, or any clients that have this similar objection. So let the RVP or your field trainer to answer the objection or address that kind of objection, because once they ask for this, my partner will not go for this and all that. It's pretty much, it's half of the resistance is coming from that person. So, and the next one is, why do I have to get my partner involved? And to address this, I have the example here. That's a great question. So you emphasize that too, and I am glad you asked that. I didn't understand that either, and I'm using my personal example like Julie. So Julie was trying to get me to join right away, and honestly, it took me 1 month before I went to the opportunity meeting with Julie. So one of the reasons you want, your partner or your spouse to get involved in the business is to understand how the business works, and starting your business with your partner or your spouse, it actually can an advantage to people that started the business with no partners and all that, because you got your market, your own market, and then your partner or spouse market. So that's starting your business having a two kinds of two different pipeline, the hot and warm market. So that's a good start for the business. And then the last one is, it's not for me, it won't work, I have a job already. So I get this a lot with a group of people that I know. They always have this, it's not for me, it won't work, I have job already and all that. And for me, because I had times that I'm not very confident of answering them, addressing that on the spot. So I would just, I'll make sure that I get my RDP and ask for help. Like, Coach Ian, I would call him, hey, I had this objection and all that. And then I was able to, take over the conversation, but I didn't really answer it. How would you, so talking to Coach Ian, I would ask question, and how would you address this? And then he would tell me, and then the next time I'll get to that person, I would be able to take over that conversation again and all that. So always reach out to your RVP, your field trainer, or your upline and all that. And then our last slide, and I will end our presentation with these two quotes. So you cannot make someone be ready for what you're ready for, and you're not obligated to wait around for them to make up their mind. So I choose this when we were working on this slide, because it's, to me, it relates into a partnership, that even though me and Julie are partners, we live in the same house and all that, but we sometimes we pull each other up. So there's times that I don't want to go to the meeting, which most of the time, but she's always there to, let's go. She started dressing up and all that, and there's times that I would do that to her too, if so it works for us. You don't have to wait for them, and there's times that if they're not ready, at the end of the day, it's your business, and you just gotta do what you gotta do. And I know my son's insensitive and all that, but so the last one, the last quote that I'm going to end with, the world doesn't exist to fulfill you, it exists, you exist to fulfill the world. So I'm going to relate this again with the partnership. So Julie is my world, and the world, she doesn't exist to fulfill me, I mean, I exist to fulfill her. So that's like a vice versa there. So if ever I'm her world, then she didn't exist for me to fulfill the world. I'm losing it. So it's like she exists to fulfill my world or something like that. So I know it's kind of like, not really business related, but it does make sense for us as a partner that, it's a give and take and all that. So, and JF, that's pretty much our part. And shot caller, take it away.
Awesome job, Ed and Julie. Guys, oh my gosh, JF, that was amazing. Our main course was just so on point. Guys, weren't you satisfied, fulfilled? Did you enjoy that or what? And you know what? That very ending, Ed, that was powerful, right? Man, you know, I always say when you have a guy like that in your life, man, that's truly a blessing, right? To have that type of thinking. And Julie, great job on you guys' partnership. And it always takes two. But, you know, those words at the very end, it just gave both of us, not just me, but it also gave Sir Chief goosebumps, right? We love that. That was fantastic, guys. And you could see, look, they're training from experience. They didn't, you know, all their different objections, they said, I get this a lot. Right. Training from experience. They didn't train it from a book, from anything, right? They trained it from experience. Look, Julie's absolutely right. When you're asking, you're a professional. When you're telling, right, you're an amateur, right? Asking questions and learning how to ask questions to lead them in the direction you want to lead them. That is a pro you act, right? That shows you're professional at what you do, right? I love that I'm not interested overcoming objection script. I don't have that one, guys. So I screenshot that one. That was good. That was powerful, guys. I like the fact that Julie said, you know, a program. We're giving you a program. That verbiage is key. You want to add that into your verbiage, right? Saying like this program, that program, our program, the program we're giving you. That is very powerful, guys. And you know what? I just love how they ended it with the heart. That was, you see, they gave the main entree and then they ended it with the, you know, just the last bite was just so fulfilling. Great job. I'm super duper proud of you. I can't wait to get you guys on the YouTube, guys, and you know, showcase that. So congratulations. Well done, well delivered, well prepared. I'm so proud of you guys. Hey,